very much, Mylene. Everybody, let's give it up for Mylene Marie. Yes, thank you for coming back to us and blessing us. Okay, so as we receive this blessing, let's remember the spirit of preparedness, my friends. I'm going to call in a spirit of preparation that we may fully be ready right now. Let's get ready. We have been going through line by line by line into the Revolution of Love vision statement. And what's been very exciting, I believe, is that in recent weeks, you have actually been doing a lot of the heavy lifting at the service. You have been pretty much, we've been co-creating the sermons together. And you've been saying what you hear and what you think and what you feel and what you believe about these lines of our Revolution of Love vision statement. What comes to mind, what speaks to you, what really deeply resonates. And so with that, we're gonna keep on going with some of that, although we'll see exactly how Spirit moves tonight and the energy of that and how it should take shape, how that should take shape. We are on the slide, and Manny, hold for a moment. We are on the slide in the vision statement. We create positive peace. We practice transformative justice. We bring equalized compassion and radical love. Remember, last time we left off with, we do not enable, co-sign, or align with any system, structure, or policy of hatred, oppression, or violence. And so there is a distinct shift now. Feel this. We said no to certain things. We said, we will not do this. And now, in that pivot, as we do here, in that shift and in that pivot, we say, we create positive peace. We practice transformative justice. And we're going to leave it at this line tonight, or yes, tonight. We bring equalized compassion and radical love. There is a number that has been on my heart and on my mind, and that is the number 10. And go with me on this for a moment here. In my life, extraordinary things have happened in a matter of 10 days. In a 10-day period, there have been illuminations that have been revelations. There has been things that I've seen in a matter of 10 days. Very important, noteworthy things that I've seen in the realm of patterns, dysfunctions, dis-ease. And in 10 days, to have such a revelation, it has been very important for me to not only recognize it, my friends, but to own it. And from that place of owning, to motivate and move on it. I'm reminded of the story of Saint Anthony, as retold by Athanasius. And the story of Saint Anthony goes that he began to move out more and more into the desert in his spirit of meditation. And he took to this dwelling place, and eventually he stayed out there for so long. He was out there for 20 years. And it is said that when people would drop food off in the early days as he had left society, that they would drop this food and they would hear basically demons and something throwing him against the walls of this cave, which is precisely why he decided that he would go there and take to this place of solitude and solitary kind of confinement, was to rid himself of any crazy thinking, of any demons, of anything that no longer belonged to him. And so, yes, after 20 years, Saint Anthony emerges, and people think he's going to look older and his skin is going to be sallow. And in the story, it says that no, he was beautiful. He was majestic, really. And it was miraculous. I bring this up because we don't have 20 years. We don't have 20 years to go off into some damn desert and dwell and deal with our crazy thinking, or the demons, so to speak, of the possession of hatred or violence or oppression. We don't have 20 years, do we? No. But, think about 10 days. Think about 10 days and what we or you might accomplish in just 10 days. As I said, in my own life, when I have been really prepared and spiritually resourced, there has been magic that has gone down in a matter of 10 days. There have been things that I was able to see, to chart, to know, to realize. And that, my friends, is the spirit that I want to lift up tonight for each of us. I want us to start this tomorrow. Tomorrow, that would be July 26th, for 10 days, going to August 4th, our next Roll community meeting, to be intentional, to explore the world around you, to not lose sight of anything, to look within yourself, yes, like we do with this thing, with the toy, but then to expand outward and look outside of yourself. And for 10 days, what might we do? What might we see? What might we hear? What might you realize that you need to speak into the world? How about that? What has been calling upon you to say into the world? And maybe it won't even take 10 days. Maybe it won't even take 10 days. But let's take 10. Starting tomorrow, when we wake up, the moment your eyes flash open, and continue this prayerful action, this bold action, this feeling tone into every moment as much as you possibly can. 10 days. 10 days. As I said, we don't have time. We don't have 20 years. There is a way that we can prepare ourselves better. Again, let's hear this now. Actually, Manny, bring up the slide so we can poise ourselves, so we can chew in a style of Lectio Divina and really take in that slide of we create positive peace. We practice transformative justice. And Manny, would you please read that for us?
Certainly. We create positive peace. We practice transformative justice. We bring equalized compassion and radical love. And we believe in God with all its names.
Yes. Thank you, Manny. Okay, so we can just hold here, everybody, and please from your place, wherever you are seated or however this finds you, please take another look at this. Again, we create positive peace. We practice transformative justice. We bring equalized compassion and radical love. And let me be clear, let us be clear, that positive peace, in this case, my friends, this is coming from Johann Galtung, considered one of the main leading innovators of peace studies. And so the opposite of a positive peace, my friends, is a negative peace. And a negative peace is the absence of violence, or it is the absence of war. It doesn't get to the root of said violence. It doesn't transform systems. See, this is where positive peace is very exciting, because positive peace is not merely the absence of violence or hatred, it is the presence, feel this, it is the presence of justice. It is the presence of a radical love. It is where we see the systems and the structures of oppression and hatred and violence topple down, and in their place, we see communities, we see safety. That, my friends, see, this is very exciting. We create positive peace. Okay, now let's just move, practice transformative justice. And as we went over here, we delineated that the justice system that we are in currently is a punitive one. It is a punitive, and it is the criminal justice system. We see this day in and day out. And so what is posed here in this vision statement is the exact opposite. It's about those practices of transformative justice. It's about save-a check-ins or checking in on one another. It's about if and when you know that someone has a mental health crisis that is happening, we take care of each other. We don't tarry. We look in on one another. It's about forgiveness. It's about accountability. Practices really not just saying, I am sorry, but really owning, really seeing, amending and fixing where we have caused harm to somebody. That's the practice of transformative justice on a ground level. And those building blocks matter. They are very important. And now let's go to we bring equalized compassion and radical love. Okay, now Manny, we don't need this slide right now because I want to talk about this a little bit more. So equalized compassion, dear ones, dear hearts. See, at the Revolution of Love, we're not talking about the compassion that has often left you, I believe, bleeding out or exhausted or fatigued, as in compassion fatigue. No, that's not what we're talking about. See? No, here at the Revolution of Love, we are talking about an equalized compassion. So that connotes, that intimates two different energies. So feel this, please. And some of you have heard this a lot, but I have to repeat it because it is that important, because we don't have it down yet. And I'm not saying just here, I'm saying collectively speaking. So this goes back to mystical Judaism. And in mystical Judaism, on the left shoulder sits something called Gavura. And you can tap your left shoulder and utilize your body for this. Bring in your body right now. So in mystical Judaism, there is something called Gavura, and that sits right here on your left shoulder. And that is justice, that is judgment, that is discernment. There's nothing wrong with these things. Sometimes we're taught that, oh, judgment. No. This is important. So that's what sits right here. When we follow it across, Now we are on this right shoulder, and feel that shoulder, please, if you would. There is something called Hesed. And Hesed is compassion. And you see these two are connected. And when they're connected to our heart, boom, boom. The heart is actually the Hebrew word, not to confuse you. This is Tiferet. So from Gavura, just justice, to Hesed, which is compassion, and Tiferet, which is your truth, or you could say your heart. This is a divine breastplate. See, that's a very, very special kind of compassion here, because we're not weighed down, giving out so much and bleeding out, and oh, I have compassion and I'm going to hold space. How many times have you seen people's compassion being actually holding space for injustice? See, that ain't compassion. That's being complicit. That is enabling. And imagine if you're living like that, you're almost walking around like this. I'm disappearing into the screen, but you know what I'm saying. It's you're too weighted on the Hesed. You need to right size. You need to come up, and you need to pull in some of that justice on your left shoulder. And again, when it's harnessed in with your truth, with that Tiferet, see, that's when we are talking some serious mojo. That's the big stuff. That is the big stuff. Now, conversely, if we are so heavily weighted on Gavura, on justice, without a beautiful divine compassion coming in, that's when we get very punitive. That's when we are maybe in that criminal justice system. So this is what we mean by equalized compassion. That's just a few words in this vision statement. I'm sweating. That is just a few words in the vision statement. We bring an equalized compassion and a radical love. And I hope you know by now what we're talking about when we say love at Revolution of Love. I hope that we are clear that it is not your hallmark love song, air supply kind of love that we are talking about. We are talking about an exalted form of love. And really, it is ineffable, isn't it? This kind of love, this is something that takes lifetimes to study, to feel, to know. I don't know if we ever will understand it, nor should we. So we came from this slide last time of we do not enable, co-sign, or align with any form of hatred, oppression, or violence. But then, bam, we say we do create a positive peace, and not merely the absence of war, like a ceasefire in Israel-Palestine. We say, no, that's not enough. Instead, we come full throttle with what are we going to create? And we practice that transformative justice right here with one another, right here in this community. And as I know some of you did, I know David and Margaret, I believe as well, yesterday doing the work, praying with their feet. We do this as much as we can outside of these services as well. And then we bring this equalized compassion and this radical love, because you know what, my friends, here's the deal. None of this matters. None of this matters. None of this amounts to anything if love isn't at the center. None of this matters. You can do all the correct things. You can say all the right things to someone. You can even do those save a check-ins. You can do those accountability measures and ask for forgiveness or make an amends. You can create and believe and try and topple down those systems and structures of violence. If love is not at the center of this, if we don't have love at the center, we are missing the point, aren't we? And I think that, I'll say a couple more things, but I feel that is really the high note of right now and what I wanted to share. Because in my life, there have been moments, here, I'll check this out. There have been moments where I can think of something back in the early 2000s where I was learning Rosenberg, nonviolent communication, and I was learning all these things and practicing. And you know what? I was so frustrated and so annoyed by whoever it was. Love was not at the center. God wasn't at the center. I say God, as you know. Spirit wasn't at the center. And it was felt. And it was known. And it mattered. Intention matters, doesn't it? Intention matters. What we bring, how we bring equalized compassion and a radical love, it matters. So please make sure you put love at the center. And if that's hard for you right now, and it might be for some of you, if you're feeling sad, or if there is an ailment of any kind that you are dealing with, then you let us know, because that is why the revolution of love was also created, was that so no one is here that is left feeling alone. That nobody feels that horrible sense of isolation that is a dis-ease, isn't it? It's a dis-ease. In 10 days, there have been moments in my life that were revelatory, where things were illuminated, things were revealed. It was a spirit of preparation as to why I was able to see it and to own it and to motivate and move on whatever was coming to me, whatever was seeking itself to me or through me. And so for 10 days, I want us to do this, what I just outlined in those 3 lines. It is in the spirit of preparation that I call upon each of you to create. Preparation to creation, the creation of a positive peace. You create a positive peace for 10 days. And all of that, and ask yourself, what am I creating? Am I creating despair? Am I creating hopelessness? Am I creating negative thought forms? Am I creating limitations? Or am I creating prosperity? Am I creating possibilities? Am I creating joy? Am I creating beyond my wildest imagination? Ask yourself, in the spirit of preparation for 10 days, what am I creating? And then the second line of this one slide, see, we really break it down here. We practice transformative justice. So what are you practicing? Are you practicing checking in with people, telling people how you are? Maybe you always check in. How many of you do this? Maybe you always check in on everybody else, but maybe you need to say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what's going on with me. So what are you practicing? Are you practicing those transformative justice techniques? Are you saying, hey, this is where I'm at? Or, hey, how are you? Or, ooh, I made a boo-boo. I got to be accountable for this. Oh, I need to make amends to you. Practice. What are you practicing? Are you practicing or are you replicating? Are you replicating systems of harm? See, that's the converse. That's the opposite. We don't want that. So let's go over it. What are you creating? What are we creating? Creating a positive peace. What are we practicing? Are we replicating systems or oppressions of, or are we practicing the transformative justice and that magic? And then the third, what are you bringing? What are you bringing? Are you bringing in equalized compassion? Do you feel the temperance? Do you feel the balance? Or do you know, oh, I'm a little out of balance. I'm bringing so much compassion to people. That's it's not compassion if you're exhausted. No. Or, oh, I'm really pissed all the time these days. Oh, punitive mindset. See, that's that Gavura. That's the Gavura. Equalize it. Equalize it. What are you bringing? And the radical love. Don't forget the love. Don't ever forget the love. Love is infinite. It's everywhere, everywhere. Stardust. And if you're having a hard time connecting with it, and a lot of people do, let us know. We're here for you. Let somebody on this worship team know. A lot of us have the little roll logo behind us. You let us know. You let us know. We'll keep you in our prayers. We'll see you in these community meetings. 10 days, my friends. 10 days. We start tomorrow. When? Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. And you do the best you can with this. This should not be hard. This should not be hard. This should be fun. This should be joy. This should be an excitement, right? Because at the revolution of love, we don't have 20 years. Sorry, St. Anthony. That's nice for you. No, we have now. The time is now. And this is the revolution. God bless you. God bless you.